VCM is a privately owned, professional investment company that invests in predominantly high quality, undervalued assets. We make these investments with the sole aim of protecting our clients' capital and growing it in real terms so that the purchasing power remains intact after inflation. The creative blocks which hang on our walls here in the office at VCM are basically a collection of pieces from a wide variety of different artists. Very much like our portfolio, which consists of a wide variety of pieces of different businesses. If one looks at the wall of creative blocks as a whole, it creates quite a colourful and interesting picture. And again, if you look at our portfolio, because of the wide variety of different companies or pieces of different companies that we own, it creates quite an interesting picture. And that picture is important in investment terms because it is that picture that protects and grows our clients' capital.
I don't think people actually realize how focused artists are if you want to make it as an artist. We don't all get up at lunchtime, you know. You can't afford to not know what's going on. You need to be on top of things. You need to actually know, you know, new techniques that you can use, new businesses that are opening, new potential clients. You need to really kind of have a bit of a business skill. You need to know your materials. You need to know the artisans. You need to actually be on top of a lot of different things if you're going to make a living out of it. It's not just, you know, all red wine and late nights, because people often think that.
I think there's a large similarity in the way both investment managers and artists employ the process through which they create either portfolios or artwork. A process leads to consistency and repeatability. And I think that's basically the key to good portfolios and good pieces of art. The different artworks that make up the whole of the creative block consist of individual pieces, some of them by very famous artists, some of them by less famous emerging artists. Consistent with that, if one looks at our portfolios, we have some established stocks and we have some up-and-coming emerging stocks, and that creates a nice balance in the portfolio in terms of the prospective returns our clients can expect. Although each stock or business we acquire in our portfolio has a particular value, we think the portfolio is worth more than the sum of its parts. This is because each business responds to different economic stimuli in a different way. As a result, the portfolio is robust with respect to any outside economic influence.
I stayed in the township with my brother, but I had real problems in the township. I was always drunk. I knew I had to leave. And so I ended up in town, you know, on the street actually. And the first 2 weeks, I stayed on the street in Cape Town, and I was a little bit afraid to sleep on the street. And so later, when I really became tired and I wanted to sleep, I made a walk towards the mountain. And yeah, I slept there one night. And the next morning I was fine, and I think I stay here for a while. And you know, I stayed in the mountain for 5 years then. And then in desperation, I was really hungry again. And a church in Cape Town off Queen Victoria Street ran soup kitchen. And a Tuesday morning, while I was really hungry, I went to the soup kitchen and stand in the line for some soup. But somebody was running a drawing class, painting drawing class in the soup kitchen. And you know, the soup kitchen is really wild and people were fighting to eat, and I decided I'm not going to fight, I'm going to stand with the painter. And so I made little drawings and pencil drawings with him, and yeah, that was my real first experience with actually painting or drawing with my hand or myself. And then the church had a fundraiser, and in the fundraiser, people felt that my work was quite strong, that I maybe should try something with it. And 2 weeks later, I was on an international workshop. So things really started for me, actually leaving home and staying in the mountain.